Really good. Just reading that Pam Bondi is allegedly poised to charge Alejandro Mayorkas, former immigration guy for Biden, for, quote, deliberately allowing 20 million violent illegals into
Are
the
they
United States.
insane? Are they insane?
Yeah. Yeah, they
I
are.
mean, they're just. Oh, I can't. There's lots of other people.
Fucked.
Yeah, they're just terrible. They're just terrible. It's just like an appalling regime. But not unsurprised by any of that. Why is my camera doing all this craziness? It's moving like a madman.
I don't know. I don't know why your camera's doing that. I'm fascinated by, the undercurrents of the kakistocracy.
Yeah.
Just and I shouldn't be, but I am amazed that Pam Bondi's still around. I'm amazed that Kash Patel, we'll get to that in just a second, that he's still around. These guys are all going to go to jail.
Who are they going to replace them with if they get rid of them? I mean, I know Kash Patel has a plan, and we'll get to that later in the show. But Pam Bondi, I don't see who takes that job. It's like a job to commit crimes.
Anybody as dumb as her.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll be able to find some self-dealing asshole who's as dumb as she is, who's as dumb as Pete Hegseth is. And I just want to underscore how dumb the regime is with this one example.
Yes.
So Pete Nutsack yesterday, he's like, I'm going to look into whether or not I can court-martial retired senator, astronaut, fighter pilot, Navy veteran Mark Kelly.
Right.
Who served this country for 40 years with distinction. I'm gonna look into it. Sedition, treason. Blah, blah, blah. So Mark Kelly puts up a tweet, and he's takes a picture in the mirror of his chest with all of his fucking medals on it. Right? Puts out this really long, beautiful piece about how he served his country, how he stood up for his country, how he's flown sorties for his country, he's gone to space for his country, served with distinction with his country. Chest full of fucking commendations. Pete Nutsack. Pete Nutsack puts out a tweet in response to that because he thinks he can keep up with this guy, which is like, it's just not possible. And in this tweet, he says, so, Captain Kelly, not only did your sedition video intentionally undercut good order and discipline, but you can't even display your uniform correctly. Your medals are out of order. Rows are reversed. When you're recalled to active duty, I'll start with a uniform inspection. Pete Hegseth is so stupid. He didn't take into account that Mark Kelly took a picture of his medals in a mirror. So it reversed. You still there? I can't hear you.
I was just going to say you make me laugh a lot, but also Kelly must really know how to put on his medals, and Pete Hegseth needs to go back to grade school to figure out how mirrors reverse things. I mean, it's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. If he can't even figure that part out, he's part of his warrior ethos. Is this what warrior ethos is all about?
Imagine him trying to parse through really serious intel.
Oh, I can't. He'd put it on Signal. Is what he will do. That's what he does. Well, let me just send this to everybody and see if I put it into Chat GPT, see if I get some analysis. Oy.
It makes everything make sense, doesn't it? Anyway, welcome to the Five Stack. Where do you want to start today? I just thought I'd lead with that one because we're going to talk about a lot of fucking morons today. So.
Yeah, I'm really that's a very appropriate one to lead with. We're going to lead with some brand new polling that just came out on the President of the United States and his popularity or lack thereof. Mm-hmm. So this is a poll that they're all different. Some you might like, some you might not like. I like this one. The Economist YouGov poll just dropped Trump to 38% approval, the lowest of his entire second term, with 57% disapproving. That's a brutal 19% drop. Women have turned on him at historic levels. Just 31% approve versus 64% disapprove. A net of -33. That's collapsed from -22 in just 1 week. Older Americans, his base backbone, are abandoning ship too. Both 45 to 64-year-olds and 65 plus groups have hit record low approvals. And you can see the numbers there. As soon as I take these supers off and you can get to see them even better, it is a tragic look for the president right now. People do not like him. They do not like his policy. And the number one thing, other than the economy, that's driving this is Trump's Epstein files handling. Disapproval rate is now at 74%. That is a very important number, because when we speak about Nixon and we look back at all these historic things, when you get approval and disapproval rates nearing this 25% mark, it's a crisis for the incumbents, and there's a lot that needs to be done in order to fix that. So that's the Economist poll. I mean, this is Marquette that gives them the 74%, but the previous one was this one here is the YouGov Economist poll. I mean, these guys are conservative. These are not out there people, and they are predicting terrible things to come for the Republicans, which, I'm sure you have a lot to say about, considering everything we've seen from Marjorie Taylor Greene on upwards as the party begins to fray.
Yeah. That blast radius that everybody's trying to run away from with their hair on fire, like Marjorie Taylor Greene did, doesn't just have to do with the Epstein files. We've talked about it a couple of times. And his polling is a disaster. He's not just underwater in every major category with every major Democrat. One of the things that he was able to do by attaching his message to Spanish or Latino influencers was manage to trick the American Latinos into voting for him in the last election. Well, these ICE videos aren't sitting well with the American Latino community, because this is literally all about an ethnic cleansing. That's what this is. I mean, there's another report that came out the other day that said of the, let's call it 2,000 people that have been arrested and detained in Chicago, 3% were illegals with a criminal record.
Incredible.
Just under 3%, 2.6. And people of color, specifically in the Latino community, they get arrested 10 times faster than any other visible demographic or visible minority. And all of that polling, all of these conversations, to be said, is it amazes me every time this fucking moron puts out a tweet or a Truth Social post about his poll numbers, when we can clearly see the fucking truth, right? From YouGov, Quinnipiac, Ipsos, every Marquette. To your point, every major poll, including polling companies that obviously skewed to the conservative side on separate issues, they're all underwater, and they're all at the same point, which is 34% to 38%, depending on the polling, that approval rating. And to your point, a 26% approval rating when it comes to the handling of the fucking Epstein files, and a 25% that was polled when Nixon got pulled out of office, when the senators and some of the supporters walked in, they're like, they got you, and you're going to kill everybody, so you got to fucking go. That's where we're at. Like, that's literally where we're at.
Yeah.
But the interesting part is how this fucking guy, and I don't know who's not in his ear. I know he has complete control of the White House. Report came out that Lev helped build, that several senior GOP members are literally so sick and tired of his bullshit, they're getting ready to bolt. He treats everybody in the party like shit. If you're not in his cabinet, or if you can't do him a favor, fuck you. It doesn't matter who you are, Republican or Democrat. He treats everybody like garbage. So this guy puts out a tweet after that poll came out, a Truth Social post the other day. I have gotten the highest poll numbers of my political career, all caps. While my great work on the economy has yet to be fully appreciated. It will be. Things are really rocking. Stopping wars and foreign relations seems to be a strong suit for him, by the way. This is literally written by a fucking idiot, like a child trapped in a fucking 80-year-old dementia-laden rapist body.
It's also
like,
a fantasy world. I mean, this complete
pure
lies,
fantasy,
like pure fantasy.
Also great. He's like, also great. The border and stopping crime. I predict the economy, with the highest stock market ever and prices coming sharply down from the Biden disaster, will soon be at the top of the list. Make America great again. That is pure fucking delusion. to your point.
Yeah, let me show you how delusional it really is. This is the collapse as we see it. This is Fox News, by the way, a lot of these the Fox News polls. So the Fox News approval and disapproval ratings look like this. So Trump is now at 40% favorable, almost 60% unfavorable. Fox News, you see the Marquette ones below there. But the Marquette ones are interesting because on the economy, he only has a 36%, is that right, approval rating, and a 64% disapproval on the economy that he says is the greatest economy ever. And you can see it all the way down. It just gets bad.
It's just not fully appreciated.
It's not fully appreciated. And everything below that, tariffs, Russia, Ukraine, inflation, Epstein files, shutdown, Argentina, all ridiculously low approval ratings. Then you get to the economic pain that he talks about. 46% of people say they've been hurt by Trump, that he's to blame for their economic plans. 46%. As people complain about cost increases, this is Fox News again. Groceries, 93% say the groceries up. Utilities, 78%. Healthcare is 67%. Housing, 66%. Gasoline, 53%. In general, everyone is saying that the prices are cost of just way higher, and the cost of living is too high for them. The national economy got a 76% not good, which means it's pretty high disapproval rating there of his handling of the economy. So I hate to break it to Mr. Trump, but whatever economy he says he's leading is not trickling down to everyone. It's not trickling down to consumers at all. And when you look at the midterm prospects, 49% Democrat, 44% GOP, that's the likely House. That's how the House will likely split. And Republicans are getting a fair enough share of the blame around the shutdown as well.
Mm-hmm. You know what's one of the truest things that was ever said to me about con men is just wait, it never comes. Mm-hmm. Right? Just wait never happened. Just wait and see. Just wait and see. Tim Hassert, just wait and see. Tom Emmer, just wait and see. JD Vance, you just wait. You got to be patient. Yes, it's going to be hard. Just be patient. It's never coming. The economy is never coming around. You're never getting your fucking health care back. Those SNAP benefits that so many people lost aren't going to get those back. This $2,000 check. I don't know if I subscribe to Donald Trump's, so everybody else doesn't have to his fundraiser emails, right? So I'm a member of the Trump fan club. Mm-hmm. So he sends out a tweet today, a social media post, and this is again just roll it into the con man narrative about this dickhead. Mm-hmm. He sends out a tweet today because of these poll numbers, and he's like, guys, and he's going to lose his tariff fight with the Supreme Court.
Yeah, it does look like that.
Yeah. So he puts out a fundraising email, literally a fundraising email, with him holding hundreds of dollars in American cash. He's like, "You want this money? You want this $2,000? I want to give you this. I want to give you this so bad it hurts. This is tariff money, and if you want this tariff money, click this link." So you click the link, and what is the first thing that you get sent to? A page where you can give him money so he can give you that money. If you just give me $5, $10, $15, $20, you become a recurring member of MAGA. You give us a monthly sum of this. This is what you get. It's tiered. And on top of it, I'm going to open up access to these $2,000 checks for every single fucking American. Here's the catch. If that sounds familiar, it is to a T. I put it through AI. Did a little research. Do you guys remember the Nigerian prince email scam that went around that suckered a lot of people? It's like, hey, my name's Mufasa Mubatu.
Yeah.
I'm actually the crown prince of Swaziland. And there's an account with $12 billion in it. I picked you because I want to share it with you. But I need like 50 grand to pay to the government to get access to that $12 billion in Swazi gold. It took people for tens of millions of dollars for years. Yeah. If you give me this money, I can access that money and give that money to you. It is the fucking Nigerian prince.
It is. Well, this guy's
that the president of the United States is running out of the Oval Office on his way to losing a Supreme Court decision, which strips him of his power. And he's still running the fucking Nigerian prince scam, dude.
It's what he's been doing his entire career. He learned it from his father. He learned it when he was building those homes for immigrants in Brooklyn. He learned it when he moved to Manhattan, and he screwed everybody left, right, and center. Didn't pay any of his bills. had union workers collapse around him. Then he had to bribe union workers to help him build those things. And, everything's just a scam. If he can buy it, he will. And he'll buy the politicians, he'll buy the authorization, he'll buy the union labor, he'll spend any amount of money to bribe and his way into something, but he'll never pay off his debt. He'll never pay anyone the bills he owes. He just is a con man. That's what he's done all his way through his life, and it's what he's doing right now to the American people. It just does not stop. It's also, this is story number 4 on the countdown. Here we go. This is relevant to what you were just talking about. The DCCC just dropped an 8-figure bomb called Our Power, Our Country, targeting rural voters and communities of color, the exact demographics that drifted towards Trump in 2024. This isn't just spending, it's a strategic bet that Spanberger and Sheriff's gubernatorial wins proved these voters are gettable when you talk tariffs and affordability, not coastal elite priorities. So here's Chair Susan Delbini is hiring organizers in battleground districts while Republicans are busy redrawing maps to rig the midterms. This is a big deal that the Democrats are, at least early on enough, starting to appeal to those rural and Latino voters.
Because for the longest time they had this elitist attitude that they were just going to get Latino voters and marginalized voters or people of color because they represented, the progressive side, the inclusive side of that equation. They like DEI. They all the things that really matter to people who are progressive and smart, who understand how to serve the people, right? And so they abandoned those people during 2024, which was fucking wild because you're running a black woman to become the next president of the United States. And you're just looking around at Latinos, people of color, marginalized groups, immigrants, migrants, and you're going, yeah, you can vote, and you're just going to end up voting for us, so we'll just leave you there. What they're doing, inserting themselves early into rural areas, poorer areas of marginalized people, people of color, heavily Latino areas right now, they haven't done that in 20 years. Mm. They coasted on the idea. And Donald Trump, to your point, if you remember Anna Paulina Luna, Rep. Salazar, who is like a media figure, a Hispanic media figure, very, very famous, where she now is a member of the House. And she was one of the people, both of these women were two of the people that took up all the oxygen and were like, listen, I talked to Donald Trump, guys. I talked to Donald Trump. And the mass deportation is just going to be criminals. Like, it's just going to be the criminals, the illegal aliens. You guys are here, and even if you're here illegally, he's going to have a carve out for you if you've been here for 5 years, you got no criminal record and all that other stuff. Well, what didn't happen? That. And so the opportunity now for Democrats to embrace what they should have done over the past 25 years, which is to shore up support in those communities. The fact that they're taking this seriously, to your point, they smell blood in the water, and they should. But they should also have been doing this 25 fucking years ago. Because how many people have been deported, arrested, who bought the lie, who listened to Salazar, who listened to Luna, who listened to their Hispanic radio heroes talk about how great Donald Trump is and he's going to make America great again for Latinos for Trump. Remember that? And one of the great videos that I've ever seen is this one of the heads of Latinos for Trump in Miami coming home to an empty house because they deported his fucking wife while he was at work.
Right. And that tells you everything you need to know about this policy. I posted a piece on narrative.org earlier on today called The Fierce Urgency of Now, which really spoke about how the next elections, the midterm elections, are actually presidential elections. That because this particular regime is so out of whack, it's so unpopular, it's so criminal, it's so falling apart in front of our very eyes, that the next, winners of this election in the House and the Senate are going to be having the responsibility of impeaching and convicting this president and his entire regime. I mean, this is really going to be not just a referendum on whether you approve or disapprove of Donald Trump. It's going to be do we get rid of Donald Trump or not get rid of Donald Trump in the new Congress. And it seems to me that if Democrats wake up to this notion early on, they can find the leader that's willing to run for the presidency through the House, through the speakership. Because if we find the right guy who can be, or a woman who can be the unifier in the middle of this battle for America's hearts and minds, who can bring those, we need 67 votes in the Senate to convict. Mm-hmm. That's really hard to do if it's just Democrats. But we need someone who can get in there and build a coalition with moderate Republicans or Republicans that are opposed to Trump or Republicans who just realize that, they aren't going to be in power if they continue down this road, and bring these two factions together, the Democrats and the moderate Republicans, or the split away Republicans, call them what you will, and unite them in we are going to impeach this president and convict him and replace this entire regime. And I think the opportunity for Democrats is massive there, but there is a void right now. There's just no leader standing up and saying, I'm going to do this now. I'm not going to wait till 2028 or 27 to run a primary. I'm going to wake up today and start running the presidential campaign for 26.
You know what? And not just presidential campaigns. It's a great fucking point. Give them a strong leader, someone that can reach across the aisle, someone that has an understanding of how to build relationships, and someone that has the respect of moderates, right? Specifically on the right. But, we had a great conversation today with the weekend roundup, a day late, but we got to it with Lev. And we were, I know, it's too, whatever. We were busy.
It was a Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll do a weekend roundup on Thursday from the previous week, but then we'll get to the rest of the week. Anyway, a couple of things happen. Obviously, the peace plan that Donald Trump is trying to ram through by Thanksgiving. He's trying to give everybody the notion that he's going to settle everything in Ukraine, and he's got this handled after the fucking laundering of 28-point Kremlin list went through his intermediaries and not even through the State Department, which is whatever. And Ukraine is not going to sign it. Russia's not going to sign it. And it's a rush for Donald Trump at this point in time to go get something done where he can look like he's got some kind of political currency or capital. Now, here's why that's really fucking important when it comes to his political fortune, because of every single poll that Zev just walked us through, because the Epstein files are coming. But the real fucking charge in Donald Trump's resolute seat right now, the real charge is what Marjorie Taylor Greene did and the coming exodus of what is alleged to be dozens of GOP House and Senate members. And when I say exodus, I don't mean they're all going to become Democrats. That's not what I'm talking about. When I say exodus, what I mean is very, very simple. You're going to have a bunch of people quit. You're going to have a bunch of people resign. You're going to have a bunch of people probably walk over on the other side and start voting with Democrats. But you're going to have a lot of House and Senate GOP members who do not want to be anywhere near Donald Trump when the roof caves in or when the floor gives. Just not show up for work. They're just not going to show up for really important votes, like impeachment votes, bunch of different votes. And it's going to be dozens.
Yeah.
Dozens of them, because they all know what we know, and they all want to make sure they're nowhere near this for self-preservation, for their post-political careers, maybe for their current political careers. But the really fucking interesting part of all of that is there's a movement that Lev and I kind of talked about it. He wrote about it in his latest Substack. You can go read it. Lev remembers. There's a movement, and everybody should be really encouraged by this, by the way. There right now is a movement to replace MAGA Mike Johnson, and there's a movement to have Donald Trump impeached within his own party because of how Donald Trump has treated members of that party. Back to that, which we talked about in the beginning. There's a real opportunity that you might not have to wait until November of next year. It might happen in and around Christmas. It could happen early in the new year, where the House goes back to the Democrats, possibly the Senate, and Hakeem Jeffries is the Speaker of the House. So I want everybody to remember that part of this conversation, and I want everybody not to sit back and get complacent. That's another thing. I think now is the time to turn it up to 11. Now is the time to step on some necks. Now is the time to continue to send emails and call your state representatives, telling them how much you want change, how unhappy you are, how you're not going to vote for them if they're part of Donald Trump's vision for America, because those things matter right now more than you know, specifically with what do they call them? Purple states, right? Specifically in states where there's a mishmash or someone has not seen eye to eye with Donald Trump, and you know what state you're in, you know those people. That's really important right now. Phone calls and emails. because we could have movement by January.
That's why you need a coalition. You know, Republicans are going to vote for Republicans regardless, but you can have Republicans that are opposed to President Trump and want to impeach and convict President Trump and have a deal with Democrats that once they're all elected, that they will unseat this president. Here's the thing that I'm worried about when I see Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's very smart, politically astute woman, no matter what you say about her. She sees the writing on the wall. She knows that she can move to the middle right now. She has to move to the middle. The Republican Party has to move to the middle. And she is eyeing that speakership. She thinks she can be the speaker in opposition to Donald Trump. Now, that is not a good situation, ultimately. This is the GOP, mega billion-dollar people saying, this is how we protect ourselves. What we need is the opposite version of that happening on the Democratic side, because that is the side that is opposed to this MAGA machine. I mean, she'll put on a new moderate look and she'll say nice moderate things, but she'll still be the representative for all those same billion-dollar investors that put their money into the GOP. And I think she is, when the replacement for the speaker happens matters. Does it happen at the next election or does it happen before? That is important. And who the speaker is after the next election is also important, because it doesn't have to be a member of Congress. People need to remember anybody can be the Speaker of the House. You can put Barack Obama into the speakership of the House. You could put anybody. You can put you name it, anybody, Republican, Independent, Democrat. If he has the majority support of the House, they can become the speaker. That speaker is likely to be the president of the United States if the impeachment and the conviction goes through. There's a lot of ifs there, but it's a path we should be taking. It's a path that people should really be focusing on now, because if we don't take it, we're definitely not going to have it. Then we will be stuck with another Trump, another 2 years of Trump being a lame duck president. But we should be taking it.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, throw all the shit on the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah,
right. Like at this point, we're they call it an inflection point, but we're really, at a breaking point for MAGA, a breaking point for Donald Trump, where the only support that he gets now is inauthentic support. I don't know if you saw the report where Elon Musk decided to put location service. We talked about it. It's like almost every major MAGA influence account comes from Thailand, comes from Europe, comes from India, comes from Malaysia, comes from Nigeria. None of it's fucking real.
Yeah.
Like none of it's real. What is real is the opportunity that Americans have right now to put a stake in the heart of America's vampire.
Yeah. And when you look at those approval numbers, even in Republican states, Republicans are not impressed by his policies. They don't like what he's doing in the economy. They don't like anything. And in fact, even in the Senate, and this is story number 3, Mitch McConnell publicly accused Putin of playing Trump for a fool and went to war with J.D. Vance on social media over the Ukraine peace plan that Republicans are calling Russia's absurd wish list. Multiple GOP lawmakers, including Brian Fitzpatrick and Don Bacon, are blasting their own administration for what they're calling a disgusting surrender plan, with Rubio caught backpedaling after telling senators the 28-point proposal was actually Russia-led, not American. The longest-serving Senate Republican leader told the vice president, this is McConnell, of course, a deal that rewards aggression wouldn't be worth the paper it's written on. This is not the same GOP. The GOP is fractured, and they do not support the president of the United States.
No. It's a great fucking story, too. Give it to that old prick, Mitch McConnell, who loaded the courts across the United States of America with people that have given Donald Trump the cover to be able to do what he wants. So let's just park that on the side. The establishment around Donald Trump, specifically those very, very senior GOP members like Mitch McConnell, they were brought up to hate Russia. They don't like Russia. They understand what's at play here, and they understand what Donald Trump is doing. And that little spat between Mitch McConnell and J.D. Vance made J.D. Vance look like the fucking moron he is. Yeah. Like, I mean, Mitch McConnell, say what you want. He's a career politician. He knows how to get shit done. He's very, very well respected, even though he's been feckless in trying to push back against the monster he created. And he helped create this fucking 100%. Monster.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Russia and when it comes to Ukraine, his relationship with John McCain, this is back in a time when guys used to be able to chirp at each other in a house setting and then go for bourbons after and go, I got you there. No, you got me there. No, yeah, but we still fucking hate Russia. that old guard still fucking hates Russia, and they should, because Russia is a genocidal state led by a genocidal fucking dictator that Donald Trump continually fucking seems to forget when he invites him to Alaska. And I want to point that out because I don't know if you're paying attention to some of the rhetoric around Lavrov now, and just to kind of give you everybody a quick tour through where we're at with this fake peace plan. It is indeed a fake peace plan. Is there are core elements that Ukraine has agreed to? I think like 9 or 10 of the first 28. A couple of them are, like we want to be able to decide if we go into NATO, if we join the EU. That's our decision, and the decision of NATO and the European Union. That kind of stuff. Not capping their peacetime military at 800,000. They wanted like 250,000. They're like, no, it's fucking 800,000 or it's nothing. But the wild part about this peace plan is that this peace plan is about carving up parts of Ukraine. And this peace plan was not engineered, as everybody knows, through proper channels like the fucking State Department, using the smartest, best minds like Mitch McConnell. Say what you want about his, dementia, not being able to stand up anymore.
Yeah.
But they abuse the privilege of those experienced individuals so that Donald Trump, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner could place themselves at the trough when everybody starts talking about peace plan. It's like, what are you getting? What am I getting? What is everybody else getting? And Mitch McConnell knows that.
Yep.
That's why Mitch McConnell put that out.
Yeah, look, this is a non-starter. This deal is never going to happen. But I think what's also really interesting is that they're saying in there that, Putin is basically calling the shots for the Trump administration. These are the same people who did not believe that Trump-Russia was a real thing. But here they are saying, Putin's calling the shots here. Now, they've got, the Secretary of the Army in Abu Dhabi right now negotiating a deal with the Russians secretly behind closed doors. Of course, the negotiations have to happen behind closed doors. But why is the Secretary of the Army doing it?
Bill Driscoll? Is that who's there?
Yeah.
Well, he's a Trumper.
Yeah,
right. Like
exactly.
He's shadow diplomacy. Odd. It's the same thing. Well, of course it's odd because Donald Trump operates with a small cabal that live underneath what government banners are supposed to do, which is provide, cover, support, and professional execution on behalf of any foreign policy. Well, they're not doing that. They got a fucking New York real estate guy who's a total shyster, and Steve Witkoff. And then they got Phil Driscoll, who is wholly unqualified to be the Secretary of the Army, but he's a Trumper, so he gets in. And probably another couple of fucking idiots Donald Trump grew up stealing from people with when he was in New York. That's who's handling this, right? And the only thing that matters to any of those people is self-enrichment. The only thing that and keep in mind, Steve Witkoff made his money in New York during the influx of the Russian oligarch money into the United States of America. He was an investment guy, a lawyer guy, and then he became a real estate guy that made fucking billions of fucking dollars from finding houses, apartment buildings, hotels, the like, for Russian money and oligarchs where they could come and start buying U.S. real estate. So, these are all people that he fucking knows.
Oh my gosh, I just completely forgot what I was going to say. I'm sorry. I forgot what I was going to say.
It was probably awesome. Sorry.
It was awesome. It was awesome because you know what? I remember now. Driscoll shows up in my LinkedIn the other day as someone you may know. And I was like, well, I don't know him, but I'm going to say yes. I'll accept the idea that I should. I guess it says that you should ask him to follow you or something like that, or to connect with him. Mm-hmm. So I did. I haven't heard back yet, but if Driscoll wants to connect, no problem. I'm glad to hear what you got to say. Join me on LinkedIn. At number 2, the Attorney General Pam Bondi announced Monday that the Justice Department will take all available legal action, including an immediate appeal, after a federal judge tossed the criminal case against James Comey and Letitia James. The Trump administration is doubling down on the prosecution that the Judge Cameron McGowan Curry ruled were brought by an unlawfully appointed prosecutor, Lindsay Halligan. So they had this fraud who's there as the prosecutor who decided these court cases. But now, doubling down on it, Pam Bondi is going to try an appeal, which is unbelievable. I don't even think
Did you notice that she just repeated everything Caroline Levitt said the day before when they lost?
I didn't say
it was verbatim.
I'm sure
Caroline Levitt. We're going to appeal and use every available means of the law at our disposal. That's what they said. There's a problem. Is the
case is
it's gone. It's toast. You can't. Yeah, and you're not going to find. They had to reach into the bowels of insurance lawyers to get someone to do this, and they sent her in there on her own. Lindsay Halligan walked in there because there was not a single DOJ lawyer who's like, yeah, I'll accompany you to co-sign this because it's
Mhm.
going to get fucking thrown out because they didn't want to put their careers in jeopardy. Lindsay Halligan now is never going to be able to practice law again in the United States, as shouldn't Pam Bondi.
Mm.
Pam Bondi has no idea what she's doing. Pam Bondi is taking directions from a micromanaging Donald Trump, who's like, I don't give a shit. If you want to be the attorney general of the United States, you want to keep all the fucking fancy shit that I've given you, then you will do this. And that's exactly what happened here. And everything Trump touches dies. Everybody knows that. But he is putting so many people in so much legal jeopardy at this point. And the catch here is that it doesn't matter what Pam Bondi says. James Comey will never, ever, ever be tried again by this regime
Can't.
because the statute of limitations has fucking run out.
Yeah.
And unless Donald Trump can find a real lawyer, like a real fucking lawyer, to find real crimes, which not only could they not, they had to invent them, and then they had to separate the foreman of the grand jury and a few other people. Go, can you just sign this real quick so we can get this going? And I promise you, we'll show you the real crimes later.
Yeah.
The real crimes never appear because there were none. And the entire process was tainted by a person who was completely not just unqualified. It was illegal that she was there.
It was a crime. You know, this is the thing. He's lost everything. He's lost
Everything.
every single appeal, every single court action, everything he's tried to do has turned out to be turned down by the judges in America and federal judges. So what does that mean? That means essentially that he is as guilty as we always thought he was, because all these deflections, all the other side did it, the Democrats, the hoaxes, the criminal cabal, the conspiracies by the CIA and everybody else to undermine Donald Trump.
Comey attacked America. Comey attacked us. Comey's responsible for this. Comey perjured himself. It's all lies.
It's all lies. Obama didn't do anything. Brennan didn't do anything. Comey didn't do anything to hurt Donald Trump. It turns out that they were actually just telling the truth about who Donald Trump was and is, and that he's a mobster paid for by the Russian president, by the Russian mob, and that's what he's doing there. And he's guilty as sin for that. And now the courts are basically showing him the way, because they're telling him that all these allegations are not true, are not founded on anything, on any fact, and he's in fact guilty as anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shocker. Is anybody surprised? I say that like twice a show. America is a kakistocracy. It is an idiocracy. It's surrounded himself with some of the dumbest fucking human beings on the planet, who are so stupid they are willing to commit crimes on his behalf with a nod and a wink and the promise that Donald Trump, don't worry, I'm the president. I got your back. I got your back. That's what he's telling everybody. Don't worry, Lindsay, go ahead. Yes, it's a crime, but not a crime because I'm the president. And that was really borne out. I don't know if you've ever seen the Nixon interview with David Frost, where he's like, what I'm telling you is that it's not illegal when the president does it. Which like that David Frost was like, oh.
He paid for this interview, by the way.
Donald Trump, and this is the truth. He said this the other day, and he's getting everybody to repeat the same line, which is very David Frost, Richard Nixon. My orders are all legal because they come from me. We're finding out, and we will find out.
Well, I mean, he does have this immunity thing that they gave him, the Supreme Court gave him, but I don't think that means that all his orders are therefore legal and you can do whatever he says. That's not the case. He gets immunity from some things, for sure. He'll get that, but
not the people that he tells to commit crimes to. No. And he's surrounded himself with enough people who are dumb enough, like Pam Bondi. Cannot stress how stupid this woman is, or Lindsay Halligan, who are like, in their minds, they're weighing a trade-off. I'm the Attorney General of the United States, and I get to walk around and big dick everybody in the United States of America. Also, I'm an ambulance chasing airhead, and so it's not going to get any better for me. So yeah, I'll just do this.
And this is
as good as it's going to fucking get. And in no way should I be here. We've all been there. Like we've all been in rooms and in environments where
it's okay. It's okay. We're going to get into the story about Kash Patel. Talk about are you okay? Are you okay?
Speaking of which, we've all been in rooms where we're like, I am outmatched and outgunned by everybody in here.
Yeah.
This kakistocracy has a unique ability to completely, absolutely, and totally disarm self-awareness from their psyche, or at least they don't have the ability to do it, because we are literally watching the dumbest administration with the dumbest, most corrupt people completely fucking fall on their face and tell us everything's great.
Yeah.
It's all great.
Which brings us to the FBI under Kash Patel is now requesting interviews with 6 Democratic members of Congress, including Senator Mark Kelly and Representative Elise Slotkin, for a recording of a video that they told military members that they can legally refuse to carry out unlawful orders. As you mentioned, Pete Hegseth has threatened to recall Senator Kelly to active duty to face military charges. And Donald Trump has posted that sedition is punishable by death. Now, Senator Slotkin, a former CIA officer, responded, "The president directing the FBI to target us is exactly why we made this video in the first place. This is not the America I know."
Also an illegal order.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. The whole thing is so ironic, right? It's just like one thing packed into another. It's ludicrous. You can't do this in the United States. There are still laws. There are still rules. And this Kash Patel, apparently, by the way, out the door by December 15th is what people are saying right now. Because
really?
the deputy assistant director that they put in, whatever it is, to next to Bongino, because Bongino wasn't doing the job. They put some guy from, I don't remember the
shadow Bongino, because Bongino doesn't want to talk because he's like, I'm really mad that you're in the Epstein files.
Yeah, so the shadow Bongino is going to become the new Patel, but he has to until December the 15th before he can be officially appointed, because he's got to be in his job 90 days before he can be appointed the director. So he's got to be the assistant for 90 days. But then apparently Kash, and I will miss you, Kash. We will miss you because
I don't know. It's funny because like it's content for days, right? Like anytime these guys say or do anything stupid, like the Kash Patel stuff with his girlfriend flying to wrestling shows and the government in the FBI Gulfstream showing up for a fake wrestling show while she sings the national anthem, flying her to and from university, fucking around with MI5, covering up with the Epstein files, perjuring himself on the stand for hours at a time in front of the House and Senate Oversight Intelligence Committees. I could go on and on and on.
Have you heard about this burn bag stuff? Have you actually been following this burn bag story? Oh. Where they claim that the former FBI director had these garbage bins full of material that, implicates everyone from Clapper to this whole conspiracy that they think that was going on against Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They found
garbage bags full of information they magically found.
Which they're now investigating as serious, burn bags. This is what they were intended for. You're going to be destroyed. And and somehow it's a cover-up and a conspiracy. It's so ludicrous. It's just Keystone Cops. It's like just amateur hour at the FBI trying to come up with a conspiracy to implicate the former CIA director and the former FBI director in some sort of conspiracy against Donald Trump. It never happened. You found garbage bins or garbage bags in an adjoining office. It's no big deal, Kash. It's not a crime.
If they even indeed found garbage bags with pieces of paper that are like, James Comey's totally guilty of all these crimes, as is James Clapper and Tom Brennan or John Brennan and Joe Biden, the crime family. And oh, by the way, in this other bag, we found evidence that Obama is a baby eating Satanist, and his wife has a dick.
We found Elvis in this other bag. Where are we going to next? Because what's this? It looks like Elvis.
So fucking, I'm waiting for the Elvis one because they tried to deflect it. I don't know if you remember the day that the Epstein files vote happened, and the Department of Justice is like, we're releasing the Amelia Earhart files, and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, I'm interested in Amelia Earhart, but not more
the
than
funniest
Epstein.
one was someone put like there's a picture of Amelia Earhart showing a picture in a cockpit of something, and someone turned it into a meme. It's like, just release the fucking Epstein files, dude. Yeah. That's what it says on the nothing is going to surprise me from false flag events to burn bags to the Amelia Earhart files to the Martin Luther King files to the JFK files. Nothing is going to surprise me in terms of what they cook up. And they're going to cook something up. Whether it's Venezuela, whether it's these fucking burn bags, it's like, oh my God, it's unbelievable. Abraham Lincoln was a fairy.
He was.
This is a cover-up. He was the magic fairy with wings. Oh my
Was it Lincoln?
God.
I think it was Lincoln. Wasn't he? Wasn't he Lincoln gay? Wasn't that the whole thing?
I don't think Lincoln was gay. I don't know.
I think he was. No,
was he?
I think so.
Oh, I didn't mean that kind of fairy. I meant like
know
a
you didn't
magic
mean
fairy.
it.
Like
I'm just like, I was just saying.
Well, we need to make sure because I have a history, right? So let's not talk poorly about my LGBTQ friends.
Yeah, that's true. But there is a Lincoln gay thing that happened. I think it was Lincoln. It was gay.
I gotta wonder too. You know, I don't have a burn bag on Donald Trump's lifestyle, but you ever hear how he talks about like big, strong, impressive dudes? Look at those muscles.
Yeah, no, he likes the manly men. He does.
Oh, look at those muscles! My God, look at you big, tough, strong. And there's another time where he's talking about Arnold Palmer. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
golf
big
guy,
schlong or something.
Arnold Palmer. I tell you, I shouldn't tell you the story. This actually made me laugh. I thought it was pretty funny. He's like, Arnold Palmer. I talked to guys that used to go to the clubhouse with him and then get in the shower and they think, oh my God, that's unbelievable. Anyway, wouldn't be surprised if there's a burn bag with Donald Trump that had some man love in it.
Well, you see, the whole thing about the Epstein files and the Epstein videos is they were group things a lot of the time. I mean, as far as, as I understood them, there was, some girls there, but also guys. So
really,
yeah. So
it wouldn't surprise me. I gotta tell you,
not as the victims, just as there were other guys there, like Epstein and Trump were in the same room together during one of these.
I feel like Trump would be a watcher in one of those things.
Apparently, Epstein.
I feel like he'd be the guy in the corner, sitting in a lazy boy, doing things you don't want to talk about.
Epstein
eating popcorn
because Epstein had a small penis.
Yeah, shaped like a lemon.
Yeah, everybody says that, and I'm like, well, that's interesting, curious.
Speaking of smut,
what happened to the show today? We just degenerated.
Well, we're done. No, it's not. I put out a questionable post today dealing with a subject we may have touched on in the previous FIVESTACK.
Yeah,
and that is the growing perversion / hilarity around this email exchange between RFK Jr. and Olivia Nuzzi.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more. Is there an update?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So exciting.
Ryan, listen, and I'm a big Ryan Lizard guy. I think he's a great writer. And he, he does a bunch of Substack lives with some friends of mine, like Steve. I think he's brilliant. And I think he was done dirty. But Olivia Nuzzi's on this big comeback trail. It was announced this week, too, that she had an affair with Governor Mark Sanford years ago.
Really?
And Keith
Sanford
Olbermann's
gets
name's
around,
in there.
eh?
Yeah, he likes the ladies at Mark Sanford. And the texts that were that allegedly, well, it's factual, that Ryan Lizza has now posted on his Tell Us channel on Substack.
Yeah.
Great follow, by the way. Details. I don't know. Should I read it to you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've
ask the people in the chat. You want me to read it to you?
Are we going to get into that word that from yesterday?
It's like I'm going to try to that word.
That word that came up yesterday.
That act. I don't know if I want to get into explaining it in detail. I don't think it's going to do anybody any good.
No, don't explain it. Just
factually. Not going to explain it, but I'll read you what RFK said, and how Ryan found out. Obviously, and he's got part 1, how I found out. Part 2, how I found out. Part 2 is incredibly salacious. Right. According to Liz's Substack, messages read like sex poems from Kennedy for Newsy. Now I know why he's sexting, because it's not as sexy when a guy talks like this. Oh, darling. It allegedly opens up with the line, "Your open mouth awaiting my harvest," and then tells her to, quote, "drink from me, love." He allegedly then, well, not allegedly, this is what Liz says, describes squeezing her cheeks, holding her nose, and warning her not to spill spill a drop.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That is.
He calls her the river. No, he's the river, and she's the canyon. And he allegedly wanted to, quote, flow through her and subdue and tame her in this manner.
I can't. I'm trying not to laugh. I'm trying not to laugh, but the canyon. I am the river.
Hamilton in the
you are my
chat. Hamilton's like,
canyon.
yes, read it. She's the canyon. He's the river. You can do the math, right? You've
can
done
do it.
physics. You don't need a protractor
There's a
for
harvest.
this.
There's a flood. There's all sorts of things that go on. Plenty of stuff.
So what has happened now, and I say good for Ryan Lizza, because it appears that Olivia Nuzzi, to try and save her career, has tried to destroy his after she made a few fairly poor decisions as a journalist.
Yeah,
ethically.
you think it was poor decisions?
Appears. Yeah, I don't think these are great decisions. Like, if you're like, hey Dean, where do you rank this on the list of great decisions? 1 being terrible, 10 being a great decision. I'm going to put this at around a 2.
Just as a life decision, not even a journalistic ethical decision. Just a bad call. Just don't do it.
So Olivia's apparently now her new gig with Vanity Fair in California is under review. Mm-hmm. Ryan Lizza is number 1 in U.S. politics on Substack.
Where's RFK?
I don't know.
Tending to the harvest, probably. Tending to the harvest is...
Tending to the harvest. Darling. I want to see your mouth open. My love. You're the canyon. I'm a river.
You have to do a full-on recording. You have to, of the entire thing. You have to post it in RFK's voice. You have to, Dean. The public demands it. We demand it.
You need me to do some micro content, reading these tweets in the voice, the current voice of RFK Jr.
Yes, the RFK impersonation. I think it would be amazing. I think people would like to hear it because they want to be in the moment. They want to understand it and they want to see it.
That guy's in charge of healthcare in the United States of America.
Yeah,
as well. So it's probably important.
All right, I'm in. All right, do it. I will promote heavily. In fact, I'll promote everything that happens on deanblundell.substack.com heavily because it is amazing when you go there. All sorts of great news, all sorts of great information. It's really the one place to stop every morning to get every bit of news. Plus, these incredible. You have an array of guests that is formidable. I'm a little bit envious, but it's okay. I mean, just the people that you're interviewing and that you're hanging out with in your Substacks, amazing. And and just you're getting a whole lot of knowledge, and all your followers and viewers are getting to sit in on these conversations, and it's fantastic. So everyone should subscribe if you haven't already to deanblundell.substack.com because he's got 25% off this month. And
just annual. Everything else is regular. It's like $150 for a founding membership. You never pay again. At $25 off a yearly membership that goes till the end of the month, and $8 a month. And more importantly, share. Listen, I wrote a piece about this today. Turned down a couple of jobs this last week. One, the person challenged me. He's like, "Don't you want to work for a legitimate media company? Well, don't you want us to legitimize your work?" I have to tell you something. I said this with Lev today. I'm going to tell everybody that's watching now. My legitimacy comes from you investing in me. So does Zev's. And over the past several months since we've been doing this, you brought me back to life. You, my Substack family, you brought me back to life. My purpose is to continue to do this for you, with you, arm in arm, as long as I can. And the only reason I had the ability to say no to regurgitating someone else's information was because of you, because of my Substack family. And I cannot thank you enough. So I promise you that we will be good stewards. But more importantly, I'm humbled and I'm also motivated more than I've ever been motivated. And Zev and I kind of touched on it yesterday. For the first time in like 10 years, I feel like myself again. And I can't speak for Zev, but I know he has a similar sentiment, is the family that we've found, finding you, you that support us, you that share this information, you that come along with us on these rides all the time, has been the professional and personal honor of my lifetime. So thank you.
So well said. And I know it's so true for you and it's so true for me because we don't have to go through editors and corporate and anything to say the things that we're saying. We just get to say them and report them in the way that we see them. And in every one of my previous career incarnations, there have been people who would have stopped most of these stories from happening. They would just not have gotten to air. These opinions are not allowed to be aired in many cases because, there was corporate guidelines, there were advertising guidelines. And here, Dean and I answered to you and you alone. At the end of the day, if you're supporting us, then we have your vote of confidence, and then we will report the truth to you as we see it. And that is for me, a professional liberty that I've never had, but also just an incredible responsibility. And I know you feel the same way, to get it right, to show up every day, to do the best we can, and to provide people with new information that they're not getting anywhere else, and the truth that they're not getting anywhere else.
That's why we exist, and that's why you have to go and subscribe to narrative.org if you want some of the best reporting. The Greatest Heist series is curated by my very good friend and one of the best investigative reporters on the planet, Zev Shalev. Go to narrative.org today and sign up for his content. Trust me, trust me, trust me. This is the content that you need, the context that you need, the information that you need to understand why we are here, why Trump is in trouble, and what is going to bring him down, and how long this ploy has been going on. Trust me, you need more Zev in your life as well. So make sure you go and give him a little subscription and some support over there as well. And thank you all for joining the Five Stack today. We will see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. We really appreciate you being in our lives. And go Maple Leafs.
Cheers, everyone. Have a great day. Cheers, Dean.
Bye, guys.
Bye.